Welcome again to the 11th community call. The previous call was in July this year, so we have many updates to share with you. So as Marily already introduced, we will address the technical novelties, and we focus on one new specific functionality for subcommunities. And then I will leave the floor to Françoise for our presentation. So let's start from the novelties. And first of all, I have to welcome the new communities that joined us and that are using the Connect service. So we have a University Alliance, STARS-EU. We have a network of repositories, the Hessian CRIS network from Germany, and then SciLife Lab, which is the Swedish infrastructure for life science. So during this month, from July until now, we had 5 service releases. Basically, in all releases, we fixed some bugs based on the feedback that we got from the gateway managers, but also from the users of the gateway. But in some cases, we also have major release, like in the case of July. So after the July community call, we released the new functionality for the configuration of subcommunities that we will address later. And we also improved the user experience for the functionality that allows the users to upload full text files on Zenodo. We had also a major upgrade of Angular. Angular is the framework that powers, let's say, the portals, not only for Connect, but it also affected OpenAIRE Monitor and OpenAIRE Explorer. So it was a big release for all of our services. As I said, we also had this September release to fix some bugs and correct some elements of the user interface and the functionalities based on the feedback we got. And finally, in October, we also had a new option for the subcommunities on-page plugin. And this is another detail that we will see together today. So, subcommunities. First thing to say is that if you have an advanced or a premium plan, then you can enable subcommunities. This doesn't mean that you need them, but could be the case that you do. So basically, with subcommunities, you can have, let's say, a dedicated way for assigning records to specific subcommunities of your community. And they can be thematic, they can be regional, they can be or subunits of your community. So we have different examples of these use cases. One is the one I added in the slide for the Be Open Connect Gateway, which is about transport research. This is a community that is involved in the SciLake project, and they wanted to have subcommunities based on different transport mode. So we have a community, we can have a community for air transport, road transport, rail transport, and so on and so forth. Another interesting use case is the one for the virtual organizations. Here I mentioned the concept of virtual organizations of EGI, but in fact, this is something that we're using also with one of our new community, because SciLife Lab, the infrastructure for life science, will be organized in subcommunities that represent different units of the infrastructures that are distributed across the country. So because we can serve different use cases, and because you might have use cases we didn't think about, if you want to have subcommunities, contact me and we will see together which is the best approach to do that. You are not allowed, let's say, to add the subcommunities yourself. So this is something that the OpenAIRE team does after this first conversation. And once the OpenAIRE team adds the subcommunities, you can then configure their inclusion criteria. So how it worked before? Before, you could tag a record for a specific subcommunity only if you had a custom full text mining algorithm implemented by the OpenAIRE team, and you could use the link functionality. Now, basically, what you can do for the whole community, you can do it also for the subcommunity. So you can define the relevant data sources, the project funding, subjects, and so on and so forth. So basically, if you go to your gateway, you will see this new box. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but there is a new box that tells configuration for subcommunity. And here you can basically switch between the configuration of the community as a whole or the configuration for one specific subcommunity. And this box is visible in all the options for the content configuration. So in this case, I selected the data sources. So if you want to edit, if you want to edit the configuration for a subcommunity, you select it from the box, and then you click on the Add button. And at this point, you can select additional criteria of inclusion for the specific subcommunity. So in this case, for example, I'm searching for projects to be added to the subcommunities or to the subcommunity of Italian digital humanities and cultural heritage. So now that you configure everything, you want to make them visible in the homepage. So the users can discover the subcommunities and can discover the research products related to a specific subcommunity. And you can do that using the homepage plugin. So you can search for the homepage and edit the plugin. You will find the browse by subcommunity, and you can enable. So when you enable it, you will see the subcommunity in the homepage. And because some communities have a very long list of subcommunities, what we did is that we made the number of subcommunities visible in the homepage configurable. So by default, we only show 15. If you want to show them all, you can decide to do so. And if you want to show less, for whatever reason, you can specify the specific number. And this is what we have at the end. So I took three gateways. So one is the one I mentioned before about transport research with 2 subcommunities. Then we have the one of digital humanities and cultural heritage and the neuroscience one. Now I realize that I might have added another community which has much more subcommunities. So probably I will change the slide when I share it, when they will be shared. Now that we have them in the home page, the user can click on a subcommunity. And by clicking on it, you can see all the research products that are related to it. Of course, the click on the browse by subcommunity is a shortcut because you can already use, for example, the advanced search in order to search for the products of a specific subcommunity. So what we want to do is really to make it easier to have the list of research products of a specific subcommunities. To further improve the usability and accessibility of this information, we plan to add also a facet filter for the subcommunities on the left of the search page. So now you can see here we have a filter for access modes, for types, for years, and we have many more. So we will add one also for the subcommunities. What you should expect in the next months. Okay, we are updating the way we manage cookies. So this will be reflected also in your gateways. And we want to improve the accessibility of all our portal. You may have noticed in the past months that we have an accessibility plugin in the connect.openair.eu main portal, and now the very same plugin will be added also to your gateways. This means that also people who have problems with the eyes or problems with dyslexia will be able to select the proper visualization option so that they can easier access and read the information in all of your gateways. From the technical point of view, we are working to add more information for organizations subscribed to the premium plans, and also to show the parent-child relationships of organizations, so that we can see, for example, that the Institute of Information Science and Technologies is a child of the National Research Council of Italy. And by following the links, the user will be easier for the user to find the research products and the projects and the data sources related to both the parent and the child. In the admin, so in the admin panel, in the admin dashboard, instead, you will soon see more filters that will be applicable to the data source filters and to the advanced criteria. And this is, again, something that we are adding because of the request of some of the managers. So your feedback is always very important for us to improve the service. And of course, to keep up to date with what's going on, you can access the roadmap or the changelog that you can find in the main OpenAIRE Connect website. So with this, I would like to give some time for questions or your doubts about the functionalities that we release, or about the usage of functionalities that were already available for you. So let me stop sharing my screen. So I don't see question in the chat. I don't see any hands raised for the moment. So I guess we can move on with the presentation from Vitor.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for the presentation. I'm quite new to the OpenAIRE service and to Open Connect for sure. So it's the first session I'm attending. Perhaps I'm going to do a very naive question. Sorry for that. How can I know if my institution is subscribed, what you mentioned as subscribed organization? How can I know if my institution subscribes or not? That's the first question. And second question is, how is it the process of community creation? Are there roles defined inside the institution? Like data stewards can do some operations and researchers can do different operations. How is this organized in terms of roles and features? Yeah. Okay. Sorry for these naive questions. It's the first time I attend.
No problem. Any question is a good question.
Thank you.
So OpenAIRE Connect has two access levels. So one is the user who can access in read-only mode, almost read-only mode, the gateway. So you can search, the user can add products to the gateway if the manager allows. While the manager, as I said, managers are appointed people who have access to the administration panel. And they are those who can configure the look and feel, and they configure the criteria by which a research product is in the gateway or not. Because the process is that basically we prepare the new version of the OpenAIRE graph, collecting information from several repositories and data sources. Then we take the configuration of all the communities, and based on this configuration, we tag the research products for the communities. And each gateway has visibility only on the products that are tagged for the community. So, so it's very important, the role of the managers, because they instruct the algorithm on how to select the research product. So, and this is the difference between the managers and the end users, the researchers.
Managers are usually data stewards, kind of data stewards to research organizations?
Yes, usually the managers are data stewards, they are research managers. It's really up to the community to decide who can access the administration dashboard and who cannot. So this is not something, just it's something that has to be decided on your side. You can have more than one manager, of course, so it doesn't need to be one person only. But
usually the creation of a community is motivated by a single institution, or usually a consortium of institutions. Makes sense, a consortium of institutions.
Yeah, it really depends. So, for example, for the university alliances, we have several cases of OpenAIRE Connect gateways that serve university alliances, and in this case is the consortium. Often what we saw is that they have a specific task in the Erasmus project, for example, to build this portal where all the outputs of all the universities should be accessible with a single entry point. So it's the consortium that comes and asks for the service. In other cases, like for research infrastructures, for example, then the organization is one. So it's one organization that asks for the service, and maybe they give access also to admins that are distributed, because especially when you talk with ERICs, now they have nodes in different countries. So it could be the case that it's not the central administrative organization that handles the configuration, but it's someone who work more with data, like data stewards, librarianships, or people that are appointed to deliver the annual report for the infrastructure. So these are the kind of figures, the kind of roles that usually access the administration. And the other question was, how do I know
subscribed organizations? How can I know if my institution is a subscribed organization?
Okay, so if you have a gateway and you have, let's say, access to the administration panel, then you will see which are the organizations included and which are subscribed, because subscribed organizations have additional functionality with respect to the others, and this applies especially for the University Alliance use cases. If this is what you asked, if instead you asked if your you want to know if your organization is somehow involved in any of the gateways that connect delivers,
or some community, or is involved in some community.
Yes.
Creating some community.
Yes, this is not
some community.
Yes, I mean, what you can do is to go to the gateway of each community and see the list of involved organizations. Because if you go to connect.openaire.eu, you will find also a section that you can use to browse all the communities. And there, I mean, if you know a little bit your organization, you can know if it's involved, for example, in a specific university alliance or in a specific research infrastructure, and you can get an idea of the involvement.
Or perhaps research open science managers at the institutional level they know him. They can help on this. Thank you very much, and sorry for taking so much time from you. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, Victor. Okay, I see a question on the chat from Andrea. For the transportation pilot, did the sub-communities ask for a dedicated space, or did you plan to create one? How did you plan to use them? Okay, as far as I know, no, they didn't request a specific dedicated space. What happens is that for the goal of the pilots, there was the need of identifying 2 specific sub-communities, which are the ones I showed before, which are the collaborative and automated transportation and maritime. So this was to, let's say, support the goal of the SILEC project for the transport community. To have more details, I think, Andrea, you should contact Miriam, because Miriam Baglioni, my colleagues from CNR, she's the one who supported the identification, let's say, of the sub-communities that were needed. Okay, I see a reply, a more specific reply from Athanasius in the chat. Thank you very much for reply. Okay, so Françoise.
Yes, thank you, Alessia. So I will share my screen. Sorry for that. Is it okay for you? Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can see your slides.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So many thanks to OpenAIRE team for inviting me to present you the DARIAH Data Policy at the day of today, because it was a long way to achieve this strategic document. And I will try to show you an overview of the situation and how we organize the connection with OpenAIRE services and the managing of resources of DARIAH. So as you can see in the slide, so DARIAH is an ERIC, and an ERIC is a social network and a technical infrastructure. There are many ERICs in all domains. For example, I can cite synchrotron ERIC, which is single-sided. But in social sciences, we have distributed cited. So DARIAH-ERIC is a distributed infrastructure that aims to enhance and support digitally enabled research and teaching across the arts and humanities. There is no operation of central service. I will explain this a bit later. It's a network of people distributed in all Europe, as you can see on the map. A network also of expertise, information, knowledge, content, methods, tools, and technologies from all its member countries. So since 2019, DARIAH has systematically collected key performance indicators to build longitudinal evidence-based picture of its value. These indicators are organized into 3 level categories: usage, effectiveness, and impact, and draw on data from national consortia as well as from European and international contexts. You can see also that DARIAH team has 5 coordination offices established in Berlin, Paris, The Hague, Dublin, and Toulouse, where we are based with Laure. Today we are talking to you from Toulouse. DARIAH is organized with strategic dimension, and DARIAH has 4 strategic pillars. The first one relates to the marketplace, tools and services. The second pillar is education and training with DARIAH Campus, that maybe you know. The third one relates to the communities globally, at national level and disciplinary level, with the working groups in particular. And the last one focuses on the bridges that exist between research policy and the communities of practices. So here you can see one of our crucial and central activity and mission, the tools and services catalog. You have a screenshot of this here, and you can see the core services showing in the list. This catalog is dynamically populated from the SHOC marketplace. We count 350 services in our catalog, but only 20 repositories. The core of DARIAH infrastructure are not repositories. There are other dimensions than dissemination and preservation of contents, which are of interest for us, as for example, education and training, campus that I mentioned before, or processing services. Most of the DARIAH services are community services. We don't provide any services centrally. For example, the 20 repositories are community services. You can see in the slide that we have another access for community services. So these services usually support local capacity building and scientific instrumentation. Some of our strategic policy documents are placed within this 4th pillar, policy and foresight. We have 2 policy documents that matters for us today: data and services policy. So this document brings coherence in the DARIAH services and data offer to provide recommendations on how to be visible on European map. One of the objectives of these policies is to bring our communities in the European landscape as EOSC or others data spaces, such as Common European Data Space for Cultural Heritage, led by Europeana, and the Cultural Heritage Cloud. So the target audience considered for the data policy is especially data providers and data producers. It's important also to know that this document is version 2 now, the DARIAH Data Policy, and is the result of a collective effort from all DARIAH bodies and the members. And it's a living document open to improvement. We are already working on a new version of this policy document. So let's go further into the document and analyze a little bit the context of the data policy. So various contextual factors led us to the development of our data policy. And for example, the definition of research data concept was very important to build and to build on the next steps and action. We have chosen the definition from the European Commission. You can see the reference on the slide. However, in some disciplinary contexts and oftentimes other concepts than research data as used, such as corpus content or sources. Moreover, as cultural heritage data originating from cultural heritage institutions increasingly become humanities research data, researchers are faced with issues such as insufficient or inconsistent metadata, heterogeneity of formats, and legal constraints on accessing and reusing cultural heritage data. So that was an important context to take into account. And on this aspect of digital abundance and granularity of metadata, there is an important references of Jennifer Edmond and other authors that we used to build our contextual introduction of the data policy. Of course, the open science background is crucial in this document. Open science practices are challenging both at the technical level and in terms of visibility within the research community. And moreover, research infrastructures are really key to provide a virtual space for hosting, archiving, and cataloging information. So DARIAH currently recognizes 6 main resource types. A large majority of DARIAH resources are produced at DARIAH partner institutions in member countries and contributed by their respective national consortia. In addition, there are resources also produced in the context of various DARIAH activities, for example, DARIAH working groups funded by DARIAH team calls or by DARIAH and affiliated entities within European projects. So the term DARIAH resource does not indicate a direct ownership or control by the DARIAH infrastructure. Instead, it refers to the context of production and reuse. A DARIAH resource is a resource created or reused within the DARIAH ecosystem. And the same principle of contextual affiliation applies to DARIAH data. DARIAH does not claim ownership of this data. So what are we interested in terms of data? The DARIAH Data Policy document focuses on data sets and repositories, understood as data sources. A data set is a digital object in our definition, or a collection of digital objects that is generally considered a distinctive body of work. And a data source is a specific service that exposes metadata about different types of digital objects. For example, data sources are repositories, digital libraries, scientific databases, catalogs, etc. Most of the DARIAH data sources are repositories declared by DARIAH national coordinators as part of their national reporting. And we want also to support DARIAH communities on open science challenges expressed by them, such as metadata quality, interoperability, and trustworthiness of their repository. So it was important also to show you today in this presentation another document along that is prepared for that we are working on, which is guidelines for managing DARIAH resources. these recommendations are primarily addressed to DARIAH national coordinators, declaring their national resources. They were developed to support the unified national reports, explaining not how to report, this is covered directly by the UNR, but how to manage resources in the DARIAH ecosystem and avoiding the duplication of efforts. So this is a way of implementing our data policy, this guidance, a more concrete document. In parallel, we also have working groups or national reporting from which we collect KPIs, such as the number of visits, interactions with the platform in general, number of downloads, etc. And from all the data we collect for DARIAH KPIs, there are only two indicators, number of platform interactions and number of publications, for which we could use OpenAIRE Monitor, but only partly. So it was important, yes, to show you that we have many indicators, but the landscape is complex. So within the DARIAH data policy, we recommend to our communities to register the repository in the marketplace and tag it properly, and to register their repository with OpenAIRE by making their metadata compliant with the OpenAIRE criteria. So maybe you could wonder why we didn't recommend our community to register their repository in COAR, because our interest was to consolidate our service catalog. So that's why. And metadata that is compliant with the OpenAIRE guidelines will be included in the OpenAIRE research graph and also in the EOSC environment, which is crucial for our national members. So this is our gateway, personalized with our logo, how you can see. So just a little bit of context and history. DARIAH Gateway is a result of a joint project between DARIAH, French and German nodes, and OpenAIRE, called OpenAIRE Advanced. At the end of the project, the gateway was was less active. So that's why we decided to, it's important now for us to make it more lively and well created. So here you have the scope and the perimeter of DARIAH Gateway. We can see DARIAH OpenAIRE Gateway as a subset of the graph capturing DARIAH resources, publications, research data, and software. The scope is defined by various dynamic filters managed by DARIAH team, applied on the overall research graph. So we count with Zenodo communities, individual repositories, or projects. The European project, where DARIAH has a strong representation, we are still looking into the best filters to avoid noise. There will also have some new projects to onboard. Data sources, only 8 out of 20 are registered for now. So we will include them step by step, but it will, of course, imply efforts from communities. And Zenodo communities, we already have a lot of communities registered, but we can work on the identification of others communities, of course. Filters functionality are also very important. That's why we postponed the integration of more repositories. So here you can see an example of filters enabling to focus on DARIAH content only. In the case of the text grid repositories, the filters are based on metadata, identifying projects funded by DARIAH Germany, DARIAH-DE. So now, how to improve the DARIAH OpenAIRE gateway? We still have a lot of work to do. First, how to bring the 20 repositories in this landscape. Of course, we will work collectively with our communities to identify the technical requirements, and also to organize a curation team and see how we can bring more curators from our communities. And we want also to improve the filter settings. And thank you, Alessia, for your presentation, because we will try to refine and improve the sub-communities aspect. And also there is a question on how we could use the API from the gateway to display OpenAIRE contents in our DARIAH website. It's also a question. So we will continue investigate content settings and advanced criteria, the algorithm in collaboration with nationals to improve our OpenAIRE gateway. And with this, I thank you very much for your attention, and I am open to answer the question. We are with Laure Barbeau attending this call, and now I will cut.
Thank you, Françoise, for the very interesting presentation. You really went from, the needs of the infrastructures, but also the needs of the researchers, because sometimes it's very hard to publish, to deposit data in a way that is compliant with the open science principles, despite all the mandates from the funders. It could be challenging. So giving this help to them, I think it's a very valuable resource with this recommendation.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you have any
Yes.
feedback from the researchers in the DARIAH space, or it's more from the data steward part?
Yes, I would say that it's more from the data providers dimension, because as I try to express it through my presentation, the nationals and the members, they express needs and sometimes doubts, interrogation about how to improve the quality of their repository, the metadata quality, and how they can connect to DARIAH environment. So, for example, there is a recent task force that was established recently within DARIAH about repositories, national repositories. So we will work together to identify the needs they have, and listing also the different technical requirements. We already have a lot of information about that, of course. So it's more at a national and community level that we can detect some needs, I would say. But so the individual needs or researchers' needs sometimes express more at a working group level. So yes, sometimes we can detect needs at these levels, or at a training level also. We can see this aspect through DARIAH campus activities and the resources that we gathered within this platform. I don't know, Laure, if you want to. Je sais pas.
Let's see if there are any questions in the chat. No.
No.
Yes. Yes, the slides will be shared.
Yes.
Yes, we will add them to Zenodo, and Marily will share with you all the materials. Yes, and also the video will be published. Um, so if there are no questions from the audience, I have another question for you, Françoise.
Okay.
Because you mentioned that talking about the indicators, that you have longitudinal indicators that monitor somehow the usage, the effectiveness, and the impact of the infrastructure. So how, I mean, are these about the infrastructure itself, or are the indicators about the implementation of open science policies within the infrastructure?
The indicators are about the infrastructure itself and what it produces, because we have 9 indicators in total distributed on so I named 2 there within my presentation, number of platform interactions, number of publication, but then we have, for example, indicators focused on working groups activity, and so
they
of
really
course,
monitor also how much the community is active within DARIAH,
yes,
because yeah,
exactly, yes, that's why this concept of impact is to measure how through DARIAH annual event we reach various communities through a specific topic, and it's not only the number of publications. So yeah, there is also the European projects, for example, where we have a strong representation. But here again, and this question of the filters, we lead certain project, and in other project we are part of, we are only partners. So how we can measure the impact of DARIAH activity and production within this various European projects where our efforts are different regarding the project.
yeah.
So
Because you as DARIAH, you also have a monitor dashboard where we also provide some indicators, charts, but indeed we do not differentiate whether DARIAH is the leading organization or is just participating. So that this is something that we could explore, let's say.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, and then open science, because yes, you are asking me how we, if the indicators, of course, the open science principle are kind of background behind all these indicators.
Yeah.
And but yes, we have an internal dashboard, a kind of internal system of monitoring. So yeah.
If I may add, I don't know if you hear me well.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so then I don't change anything in the settings. I think I speak through the mic of Françoise. But what is important for the publications counts, for example, in our indicators settings, is the fact that we continue to collect publications via Zotero library, because some of the publications that we collect from the nationals, they don't necessarily have persistent identifiers. So we still need a kind of backup in addition to the OpenAIRE gateway, but this is something that we are trying to to solve or to like by encouraging communities using the OpenAIRE gateway and like by supporting institutions to connecting their repositories to the DARIAH gateway. We hope that at the end we can drop the Zotero library somehow. And then so this would help us to also harmonize the collection of indicators. And then so, yeah, at the end, we hope that the monitor, for example, service provided by OpenAIRE, we could make better use of it because currently we don't really use it as it's, well, with all its potential.
Yeah, I see. Because yes, in OpenAIRE, we also have research products without persistent identifiers or without DOIs. So I think that the problem that we may have with the coverage is really related to the fact that not all the DARIAH repositories are compliant with the guidelines. So I agree, Françoise, that it would be great if we could move forward in that sense. This is something that we are talking together with DARIAH. Also, before you were there with the previous Open Science officers, we discussed this. So this is for sure an action that we would like to follow up together with you and together with the group, the working group you mentioned before.
Yes, the task force.
Yeah, the task force. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, we will do our best to
yes
to provide effort. I mean, to create a kind of energy here, so that we can bring more repositories and create more harmonization. Yes, the identification of the result and the products. Yes.
Okay, so if there are no other questions, I think we can close the call. I thank you very much, Françoise.
Thank you. It was
Laura.
a pleasure. Thank you.
Have a nice day.